All right, good morning. We're here at Resurrection Creek out of Hope on May the 14th on a Monday, so we got the whole place to ourselves. We were heading back from Seward. I thought we'd drop in, run a few gold pans, check this place out. Never been here before. I thought I'd give you guys all a walkthrough of the place. I'm not giving any great secrets. This is a public gold panning spot. And you can have a lot of fun with your family here. But I thought I'd give you a quick walkthrough. It's actually a pretty fascinating spot. So without any further ado, let's get her done. All right, as I just mentioned, we're at Resurrection Creek. This is the trailhead for the Resurrection Paths, the trail north in Chugach National Forest. Again, we have this place all to ourselves. Okay, it's 8 o'clock in the morning here. Early to mid-May. Still a little bit of snow on the side. I'm going to try to keep talking all the way through this tour, but when we get down to the creek, there's a lot of noise, so it'll be a little bit harder to hear possibly, so I'll do my best. All right, there is a porta potty right up here. Relatively clean, seems to be taken care of. The creek is over here. There's a little footpath up here. We'll walk over there. And then we'll walk up the creek a bit. So Resurrection Creek was the site of the second Kenai Peninsula Gold Rush back in the late 1800s, and this creek has been worked quite a bit. 30 to 40,000 ounces of gold has been taken out of this creek. Not all at this one site, of course, up and down the creek. But there's been a lot of work over the last century on this creek, and it shows. There's a lot of tailings pile. We'll take a look at those. They're actually pretty cool. Okay, this is the footbridge. If you're coming up here to actually do some gold panning, some gold mining in the creek at the public use site, the easement for gold panning starts at this footbridge and goes up the creek about half a mile. Okay, there's a private claim at the north end of this area that is very clearly marked. This place is very heavily used during the summer by families coming down from Anchorage and tourists touring the area. So the private claims are very clearly marked, so very much respect those. But this is also national forest right here, so as you might have heard, there are two seasons in Alaska. There is winter season and construction season, so notice for that. Okay, again, this is a national forest here, not a state forest, so national park rules apply. Not all that different than state, but it is good to know the difference. Okay. Again, this is Alaska. You are in bear country. So act accordingly. Also, there was a burn up here a year or two ago, so there's a couple notices here about being careful in a burn zone. Okay, kind of cool. They actually do have horses here, dogs, sled, etc. Anyway, so this is a footbridge. No ATVs, but they do come up here. Again, the creek makes a lot of noise, so I don't know how much I'll be able to talk over the creek. Okay, but let's just walk across this footbridge, see what we're looking at. Okay, this trail that starts up here, that goes up into the national forest. We're not going to go up that side, no need to. We will go across real quick, but let's go out to the middle of this footbridge and see what we're dealing with. All right, it is early in the season, so the melt is high. The river is high right now, so if you're not seeing a whole lot of great places to get kids down to do some gold panning, it's because the river's pretty high right now. No need to worry. Once summer gets here full, late summer, this creek will be down quite a bit. You'll be able to get wading down in amongst the better panning areas, but right now it's still pretty early. A lot of snow, as you can see. Right. Downstream of this bridge is not open to panning. Okay, that's not to say that you don't find people down there panning, but that is illegal. Don't do it. I like what Dan Hurd says. Don't give them the stick that they use to beat you with. If you're not supposed to be down there, don't be down there. Okay. Again, nice pretty little creek early here in the morning. All right. So I'm going to pop over on the other side here just to show some of the history of this spot. Again, I think 1888, 1890 is when the second Kenai Peninsula Gold Rush started. And it doesn't take much poking around before you start noticing that everything around here are old tailings. Okay, we come down here and there's a big old tailings pile right there. Tree growing up out of the middle of it. Okay, little pond there, tailings pond, whatever. Okay. So this place has been well used. People who pan in this river will tell you that what you'll find is very, very fine, very, very flat gold here. I'm not an expert panner by any stretch of anyone's imagination. I've been getting maybe a little color or two per pan. So nothing fantastic. Here's another little tailings pond. You'll get up in the tailings pile up there. Okay, so this place has been gone over heavily. Hate to crush anybody's dreams. You're probably not going to find the monster nugget of your fortune here. Okay, every year a flood of tourists, a flood of recreational prospectors comes up here, and every speck, every ounce, every bit of sand is eyeballed again for the Great Alaskan Gold Nugget. So you're probably not going to find your fortune here, but it is a hell a lot of fun. There's some signs back there. You can probably see it. Don't dig into the banks here, folks. A, you're not supposed to. It's against the rules, and it's bad form. Okay, this is a public mining site. People bring their families up here. No one's trying to get rich. They're just trying to have a little bit of fun. No need to tear up the banks for looking for the nugget that doesn't exist. Okay, it's not here. But there are lots of little fine flour gold. I wouldn't say lots. Like I said, I was getting one or two little tiny specks per pan. Nothing to even hardly put in a bottle, other than for out of general principle. But you guys don't need to look for a gold up on the bank. It's not here. Just have some fun. Pop back up here the trail. You'll see horse hitches around here. There is a very small but dedicated community of backcountry horseback riders in Alaska, and this Hope area is one of their more favorite places to go. So you'll see up here on the left is a horse hitch. Stop, drop their horse off here while they're adjusting their saddles or getting their packs ready, what have you. All right, it's May the 14th right now. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Sun's not out. I wouldn't say it's warm, but it's certainly not freezing. It's a little chilly, but absolutely nothing that would stop you from being out here. It's a beautiful morning. All right, we're back up here on the roadside. Sorry about that. All right, again, they do have a outhouse here. Folks, please keep it clean. I have been trying to teach my kids that everywhere you go, when you leave, pick up a little bit of extra trash that's not yours. Leave the place at least a little better than when you found it. That doesn't mean you have to clean up the bathroom, but keep the place clean. Doesn't take too many people abusing the place before our public servants decides to shut down the public land from the public. Could go for a rant on that, but I'll spare you the details. But clean up after yourself. That said, you can't have a little campfire out here. Make sure it's out when you leave. If you have any extra firewood, leave it for the next person. So they did good. Yeah, a little squirrel on the other side over there. Running around. Don't know if you can see it. Probably not. If I see any moose or bear, I'll definitely zoom in on it for you all. Now what I've done, like I said, there's still snow and ice. By the way, the snow and ice right now, late in the season, with it starting to melt off, is a little bit treacherous. I've had a couple pieces break off, slide into the creek. No issue for me, but don't let your kids run around down there right now. Creek's a bit too high, and that snow and ice is just a little bit treacherous. But I've been just poking around here where I can get down to the creek, running a few pans. Those of you who study where to go for gold, looking for the big rocks down below, there are big rocks. And there are little deposits of sand and gravel you can get, of course, but right now the water's just a bit too high to get in down there proper. Okay, so I haven't gotten into what I would consider the quote-unquote good spots. I brought my waders, but you know, again, you're not going to find big gold here. You're not going to find your fortune, so I haven't really pushed into the deeper, a little bit more treacherous, and frankly colder spots. No need to do that. So I've just been poking along the river where I can get down there and getting material where I can get it. Okay. I'm walking up the creek right here. This is just one big tailings pile that I'm walking on. I'm going to walk on the up here, okay? This material has been gone over and over and over. God bless the man, woman, or group that donated this place to the state of Alaska or the U.S. National Park, whoever actually owns it. God bless them for donating it for public panning. But understandably, they didn't donate it until they had gone through it themselves, and it has definitely gone through. Yeah, I'm doing nothing but walking on top of tailings piles here. Looking at some of these tailings piles, there's some really old ones. We'll get up to this one here, but if you look at that tree there, give a rough estimate, maybe that tree's 20, 30 years old, 35, so some of these tailings piles aren't ancient. But there are ones that are, so. Right. More tailings pile, more tailings, more tailings. Love to get a little dredge down behind that rock right there. But right now, more or less inaccessible, unless you got a wetsuit and a dredge to put behind it. Let's go ahead and walk up the road a little bit. Yeah, let's just go this way, right? We're out here and enjoying nature. Just put it in 4 high here and burble along. Walking on old tailings. 30 to 40,000 ounces of gold coming out of Resurrection Creek. That's not a joke. These tailings piles exist because there was a lot of gold here. So, the pragmatist in me says you're not going to find your fortune. You're not going to find your giant Alaska gold nugget. But This place did have a lot of gold at one point, and there's always that chance that you'll be the one to find the last nugget. Don't count on it though. Alright. So right now I don't have a whole lot more to talk about other than to occupy the audio file. I'm just walking right up. Now this is, up here is down on the, this is where I was working down here the other day. Okay, just right here. Had my kids with me, so I wasn't being too aggressive about getting into the deeper, faster, better water, but you know, I was running a few pans down here, and I was finding, like I said, I was finding a little fleck, a little speck, a little flake, maybe once every pan, 2 or 3 every pan. Enough to talk it up for the kiddos, not enough to get rich. Alright, so we're just walking up the road here. Just showing you what's here. It's an absolutely lovely morning. Now, one of the dangers of running this camera is that I'm focusing on the camera instead of looking around making sure I don't walk myself into a moose or a bear. So, if you're watching this, I either didn't find a moose or a bear or I survived the encounter, but hopefully I'm not going to videotape my own moronidity walking into a animal that I didn't see because I'm looking at my phone. I make fun of my kids for staring at their phone too much, but here I am not paying attention. Another little tailings pile. On the left side there is a little slough that after you spend a day in the creek you might be tempted, well, it's not really a slough, as a road that has water running down it. You might be tempted to run a pan down there, but I don't even think you're supposed to. And frankly, there's not enough water flow to support doing that, but this area here is a kind of a swamp area. The snow and ice that you see is, you can walk on it, but you see if I can see right here. This is what you got to be careful of here in Alaska. See that undercut? Okay. If you walk up here on this, that whole shelf can break off and slide. Now that's just a little creaky runoff there, you know, no big deal. But if that was on the creek side and you were trying to find a place to pan and you stood right there and that little shelf broke off and you slide into the creek, well, full-grown adult probably is going to be okay. You'll get wet, you'll get cold, you'll make it back to the camper. Here's a really good view of it right here. Okay. You stand on this little shelf here, it's going to break off. If you're on the creek side, that's going to slough you all right off into the creek. Most of the rivers that you're going to find here in Alaska are glacier runoff rivers, and this time of year they're pretty doggone energetic. People die here all the time by going into a creek that doesn't look too bad, but it's freezing cold and it's a lot faster than you think. So be careful. What I told my kids is don't walk on snow or ice next to a creek. Okay? Now you and I both know that sometimes you have to, but that's a good rule for the kids, because they can't tell the difference. Okay. Now, if you read some of the threads, this sign here is a good marker. Okay, this actually tells you that this is the gold panning area. Okay, it is open to dredging through July 15th. Okay, but what's good about this sign is that right about here is a good spot to go out and try a few pans. You'll find a couple flecks, couple specks, couple flakes per pan right about here. Okay. By the way, as you can tell, you can drive right up here. I didn't drive the RV up here because they say there's not a whole lot of turnarounds. There's another porta potty or another little pit latrine here for you. You can take advantage of. So as you can tell, you will have some competition here. Yeah, I'm not giving away any secrets. You start seeing campfires, pit latrines, and parking pullouts on a gold panning river. You know you're going to be panning with company in the height of summer. But again, you got some big rocks and some slack water behind them if you want to get down there and run some pans down there. If you're not afraid to get a little bit wetter, you can go down and that rock there and check it back behind there. There's a little gravel bar over there. You can keep going upriver if you want. I'm not going to keep going. Just all it is a river. If you look though, this is a nice straight shot, right? Okay. Can you find gold up there? Yeah, probably. But that's a straight shot. There's no place for the gold to really stop moving other than maybe some rocks in the creek, right? So the gold's going to come straight down, and then it's going to go around this little corner here. So here's your sandbar. Here's some rocks for it to look at. And then some undercut on the other side. So if you're looking for a good spot to try your luck, right about here might not be too bad. Okay. However, as you saw, I just walked up from the RV camping spot, so you're going to have some company here. But it's a lot of fun. The kids will love it. You run a few pans, you will find some color. Little tiny specks. And you'll have a lot of fun. And, you know, stop in at Hope, have a cup of coffee at one of the diners. The folks there are more than used to visitors popping in and saying hi. So pop in and say hi. Support your local community. But yeah, this is the Resurrection Creek public gold panning site. About, like I said, about mid-May here, 8 o'clock in the morning. If I find anything significant, well, if I find anything real significant, I'm not going to post it. But if I find anything interesting but not huge, I'll go ahead and post it. But like I said, I've been getting a speck or two per pan. Nothing to brag about, but sure is a nice day out here. All right, thank you very much. I'll see you next video.